All right, to watch this video for Friday, March 2nd, let's talk about the webinar. It's in, let's see, it's 4:30. It's in 3 hours. 3 hours from right now, we're going to be given a free webinar, 40 things you'll never hear say about day trading. It's not just a list. It's going to be educational. I think it's going to be fun. You see it, I added to the graphic right here. It's a happy hour / webinar. So it's gonna be educational, but it's gonna be fun. And we're kind of combining a webinar and a happy hour, which I don't think we've done before. Wayne said I'm supposed to be serious for the webinars, but this one's a little lighthearted, so he's letting me drink. He's a tough boss, that guy. All right, I don't know why I have this chart up. Let's go to the SPY first, the daily. Another nasty red day. For a while, I thought we were going to hold this 270 support, and then it just fell apart. There it is on an intraday basis. So looked like we were selling off this morning. Then we take out the high of day, pull back, partial retracement. Then it looked like we're turning up, and then the wheels fell off. A lot of that was related to the president coming out and saying 25% tariff on steel. And so this is what, like the letter X, these are 5-minute candles, what U.S. Steel did after that, and the other steel maker, the other U.S. steel makers as well. So I don't even have this one. I do have it on a chart that I will be watching tomorrow. Put it on a chart to make sure. I thought I did, but I don't see it anywhere. So anyway, I'm throwing that one on a chart to watch tomorrow. But we'll see. That you never know. You never know. The news headlines do not make definitive trades, if that makes any sense. So we'll see what happens. But if it gives a low risk setup tomorrow, I may be trading this one. But it is not on my actual list. So here's my list going into tomorrow. Also, real quick, you're gonna need to register if you want to come into a happy hour / webinar tonight. And I'm gonna have the link to that in the description to this video. I gotta finish up here real quick and get that out so people can get signed up, because it's in 3 hours. Making this video at 4:30, so it's at 7:30 Eastern. All right, I'm confusing myself now. AKER. It's a penny stock. But it had this nice breakout, then kind of a wide range day, and then today pretty good relative strength when you consider what the market did. So that one still looks like it might be headed for a buck. I'll see, right? I'm only going to trade it with a proper intraday setup, and obviously not if the market's tanking at the same time. NIHD, after this nasty reversal candle, gapped down today, but ended up closing above its open. Again, in a weak market, to me that tells me that one's worth watching tomorrow. TTPH, nasty gap down here, but then this reversal was pretty strong, and since this big move, which was a big volume move, it's kind of flagging. So I still want to watch this, kind of flagging below the whole number 3. No trades in it today. I had it on watch, but it definitely didn't even come close to setting up. TENX, crazy move. This one went from 441 to 1263, closing off its highs. But you know what? This thing held up pretty darn well, all things considered. And the only reason this one is important to me, and it may give a good setup tomorrow, but what I'm more excited about, if you watch my videos at all, I like to trade the small caps, which have been really out of favor. There's been no follow through in them. So I keep telling everyone, those things change, and ebbs and flows from the market come from one stock like a TENX holding up well, right? Because people make a great living shorting all these low priced, low float stocks, right? On any pop on news. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, one of them holds up pretty well. So then the next one that starts moving, they're more quick to cover. I'm talking about the shorts. I don't short these things because of what they can do, but also I probably couldn't get most of them short anyway at my broker. So what I do is I wait for them to give a setup and start working, and then when those shorts are covering, we're making a killing. So I'm glad that TENX held up this well. I still, in a very weak market, so I'm optimistic that we're seeing a bit of a turn in the small caps. Remember ZSAN the other day, and you'll see that in a little bit because it's actually on the watch list. So when you start to see a couple of these work, we're kind of getting into a time where the small caps might start working again. And in the meantime, I'm not exactly killing it. I'm grinding my account higher because these things aren't following through. So I'm finding other things to trade and low risk. I'm always about low risk setups, but I'm optimistic that these things are going to start moving. And the reason I like them so much is you can get a 20, 30, 40, 50, 70% move sometimes in 30 minutes, which I always say Apple and Google, they don't do that. So that's why when these things are working, there's a lot of money to be made. Having said that, TENX, even though it's really extended, I'm still going to put it on watch tomorrow, see how it does. CRC, I like to have bounce plays on watch, something that's beaten up into support. CRC certainly beaten up from over 20 down to below 14. Kind of a little bit of a bottoming tail. They didn't quite get to the 200-day. We're going to watch that one for potential long tomorrow. PRGO, kind of the same scenario. 3 days down. You had you have some nice support here from August, but that's going way back. But there's a lot of price action in this area, so we might be looking at a bounce in PRGO tomorrow. MNST, a lot of times after something's down huge on a day, shorts try to take easy money the next day, and sometimes that works, right? Sometimes just you get another huge red day, but sometimes shorts pile in at the open, and then they get a nasty reversal, and we can make money off that. You do have what was resistance, 54 bucks back here, was kind of support back here, but it's going way back, but it's still kind of in an interesting area. So we're going to watch MNST. By the way, late in the day, they announced a stock buyback, so we'll see if that catches on and gives it a little bit of more reason to bounce too. Again, I know that's kind of an ugly chart right now, but we'll see. If it gives us the right setup, we can make some money. If it doesn't, we won't trade it. We always say no trigger, no trade. LYV, 3 days down into very clear support at that 42 bucks right here. So that's a good setup for a snapback bounce tomorrow. SRNE, they had halted an FDA news, I think, yesterday, and it had that rip, and then today it starts to go, and then a nasty engulfing candle to the downside. It's got some nice support in this area around 7, though, so if it can come down pretty quickly tomorrow and get down to this area, we might get a nice snapback bounce there. That is a nickel spreader, so be aware of that. IMAX, IMAX, 2 down days, very close to this 19 support. If we get down in that area, I'll be looking for a bounce. ZSAN, told you I was going to talk about this one. Had this monster move. Let me hover over this candle and see what the numbers were. It went from basically 450 to 11 on an intraday basis. And now it's down in what we call the buy zone between the 8 and 20-day moving averages, kind of right in the middle there. So if it's going to bounce, it should be tomorrow. So we're going to watch that one for a potential bounce. TEUM. Just you had this kind of a breakout of a whole month's worth of trading on nice volume yesterday and kind of a quiet inside day, again, in a weak tape. So this one looks good on this inside candle. If we can get over this inside candle, it might take out the highs of the breakout day. And so you kind of have a little bit of a stacked catalyst thing going on there. And lastly, TNDM, which had earnings after the bell. See what's going on here. Its last trade was like 320. So it's not bid at 315. Ask is 336. I like the chart. I know they had earnings. We'll see how it reacts to earnings tomorrow. It's not really getting any kind of after hours reaction. I haven't read the earnings or anything, but this thing's been holding up pretty well, but it's also been kind of choppy. And I mean, now I know why. It was pre-earnings, and earnings were just now. Again, I didn't read them, don't know how they were, but we'll see. If this one, it's kind of in breakout territory, sneaking out of this range here, right? So I want to watch it and see if it gives a setup tomorrow. And it might just, they might decide, hey, earnings sucked, and they'll roll it over, and I won't take a trade. Like I said, no trigger, no trade. Hope to see you guys at the Drinkathon. At the webinar tonight. I'm looking forward to it. 7:30. Get registered. Links in the description below. Have a good night.